And that is how you do the cash envelope system my way. Hello and welcome back to our vlog. Today I'm coming to you with how I do my cash envelope system. We started using the cash envelope system back in January, and to this date we have saved about $3,000. So today I'm going to go through and show you exactly how I do my cash envelope system. So the first step in making our cash envelope system was writing down our budget. We had to write down our income of what we made per month and our monthly expenses. So as you can see, our monthly expenses go anywhere from mortgage to utilities to doctor bills and even different activities that we have for our kids. Our activities will actually come out of their own envelope, which we'll show you later in the vlog. After we had all of our income and our monthly expenses wrote down, we took our income and subtracted all of our monthly expenses. After doing that, it gave us the total of the extra money we had left over each month. Next, we started with splitting everything into our envelopes. We decided to do two different types of envelopes. We did virtual envelopes and cash envelopes. Our virtual envelopes is money that has been kept in our banking, and we use our debit card to purchase those items. So some examples of those are groceries, gas, household, fun, miscellaneous, and medical. For these, we took and estimated what we needed per week and per month for each category. Then we took our leftover money that we had at the end of paying all the monthly expenses and started subtracting all of our virtual envelopes. For us, our virtual envelopes are necessities that we need every month. Some of these categories might be different for your family, so make sure to make it so it fits your family's budget. We went through and just kind of estimated what we would spend in a year and then divided that down further into per month, per 2 weeks, and per week. With us, Larry gets paid every 15th and last day of the month. Me, I get paid every other week. Sometimes that will lead to us getting paid every week, and other times that leads to us getting paid only every other week, both of our checks. Then next, we went on to our cash envelopes. With these, we had to figure out which categories we wanted to use for our cash envelopes. These categories are ones that we will actually take money out to put in the envelope to save throughout the year. When using them, we'll take the money out of the envelope and put it back into our account or use that money to pay for the item. For us, we have 10 different cash envelopes. So I went through and figured out exactly what we're going to need. So our first cash envelope is our activities. So we've got the boys' soccer, Lexi's dance, scouting, and extra. The extra can be anything that the kids would want to use for an activity. Could be swimming, a scout adventure, or another soccer if they wanted to do it. I then take and add them all up to find the yearly amount. Then divide that up to figure out how much it is per month and per week. When subtracting, we use our leftover money per month and subtract the monthly amount. That then leaves us with the amount that we need for our next cash envelope. Our next cash envelope we did was our pet, Thor. So we estimated a $200 yearly vet bill, $20 a year for nails and grooming. For us, Thor does not go to the groomer very often. He is a short-haired dog and we usually groom him here. But every once in a while we will take him to get his nails trimmed or take him to get like a special bath. So we have that money in our cash envelope if we do want to do that. Our next envelope will be birthdays. So for our birthdays, and like I said before, it might be different for all families. So for us, we budget $200 per person and $30 for Thor. And then we have some extras in there for our family members. With this, it comes to about $1,125 yearly. For our birthdays, we save all of our money in our cash envelope. I will use my debit card to purchase items, but then take the money out of my cash envelope and put it right back into my checking account so that money's in there. Our next cash envelope is our back to school envelope. So for our back to school envelope, we figure out how much our tuition is for the 3 kids per year, how much we spend on shoes, clothes, and supplies for our back to school shopping, and then lunches, pictures, and extra. We just kind of estimate, this is our first year doing this, so if we have extra money left over at the end of this year, we could lower it, or if we don't have enough, we can increase it. Next, we have our anniversary. So we budget $100 per person, and then once again do all of my my dividing down and subtract it from our monthly total. We then have a vehicles envelope. This only counts for my van. Larry's car is mostly paid by his work. So for our car, we estimate tires once a year, oil changes, car wash, wipers, and registration is for both of our vehicles. So next we have our Christmas cash envelope. And this is what we budget a year for our Christmases. This includes our presents that we get for the kids and the special presents that can be found Christmas morning, if you know what I mean. We also have Thor in there, and we have Christmas candy, and then we also have our family gifts in there too. Next is our savings. Our savings is actually kind of like a virtual envelope too. We have a separate savings account attached to our bank account that we can take out money and set it into that savings account. For us, we chose to save $50 a week, which is $2,400 a year. Our next envelope is our holiday envelope. This is any holiday that isn't Christmas. So we've got New Year's in there, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, and so on. As you can see, I kind of added some here and there to help fit the cost that we needed. So I knew Valentine's Day I needed more money because we weren't able to get what I needed this year. And Easter, coming up, I had a hard time staying at the 223, so I added some money in there. And this Easter, we're at about 330. So next year I'll probably have to add to the Easter one. Our next envelope is our vacation envelope. This one we try to save $3,000 a year to go on a vacation. And lastly, we have our emergency envelope. For our emergency envelope, we try to save about $100 a month. This can be used for anything that is broke down in the house or our car. So right now you could probably hear in the background maybe a little squeaking. Our dryer is pretty much dying. Here in the near future, we will probably have to buy a new dryer. So that will come out of our emergency envelope. And then any leftover money that we have will go towards paying off our big loans. So right now we are focusing on paying off my student loans. I have 2 different student loans. So all the extra money that we have will be going towards my biggest student loan to get that paid down faster. Now that I've showed you how we prepare for our cash envelopes, I'll show you how I figure out what exactly needs to go into my envelopes each week and how I keep track of what bills are paid and what needs to go out. At the beginning of each month, I make sure to go and make a calendar of all of our bills. I then take all of our paydays and put them in there and color code what's going to come out with which paycheck. Sometimes some of the beginning checks will be paying some of my end bills. So as you can see here, at the end of the month, Larry's car will be paid with Larry's second paycheck. Some weeks we make more than other weeks. So paying some bills at the end of the month with a paycheck that came from the beginning of the month is how we can help to keep our budget going. Next thing I have is a bill tracker. So I took and wrote down all of our bills, and then every month or every week I go and check off to make sure they're all paid. Every week I do my weekly budget. So we start out with our income source and how much our income was. In this total, we don't add any leftover money. I just use the income that we have that week. I then take our monthly expenses, our virtual envelopes, and our cash envelopes, and subtract them from our weekly income. At the beginning of a new week, I will actually go back to the previous week and figure out what was actually spent in my virtual envelopes to see how much money is in my account for each of those. I will also go through and make sure all my cash envelopes have had their money subtracted and added into the bank account if there is anything that needed to go back into our bank account. I will also make sure all of our bills that were paid that month or that week have actually came out of my bank account. Next is filling our cash envelopes. So I have a cash envelope log that I log for each envelope, telling me what's in each envelope. I like to have 2 different ways to document what I have. This binder comes with me to work all the time. That way, if I'm at work and I need to know how much is in my envelope at home, that I am able to go back and see how much is in that envelope or subtract something out of that envelope. I also have a written amount in each envelope. So now we'll go on to our cash envelopes. This is something you don't need to do. You can just use a regular white mail envelope. I found a template online that I use to cut out my own envelopes. You can see we've got all of our 10 envelopes here. Each week we go to the bank and take out money to stuff our envelopes. So come along with me as I stuff this week's cash envelopes. A little side note, when doing our bills, a lot of them are averages. So for here, like media, we average $148, but when we actually go to pay it, it could be a lot more, $170. So we always try to keep some extra money in our account for that reason. So next is the fun part. We get to stuff all the cash envelopes. I have previously went to the bank to take out money, so that's already done and here. So to start out with, I've got my sheet that keeps track of how much is in there. This is where I add my deposits and take off money if I were to pay for like the kids' lunches. I'll just subtract that out of here, or field trips. So I'll write today's date, deposit, and then add that to my final total. That done, and then I go to my cash. So I put all my cash into piles. of like kind. And I just set those up out of the way. And then I get my new amount, and then I take my old amount out of my envelope and add it to there. And then I always try to consolidate the bills so the pile is smaller. So like I've got 4 quarters, I can get rid of those and get a dollar bill. And then I always double check to make sure I have the correct amount. Perfect. All right, and then I just put everything back in the envelope. And cash envelope number 1 is done. And go on to the next one. And that is how you do the cash envelope system my way. I hope this video will help somebody out. I know when starting a cash envelope, it can be a little bit frightening not knowing what you're exactly doing and how much to save for each envelope. I'm a few months in and still have moments where I need to add or subtract some funds from certain envelopes because I'm still trying to get the hang of it too. I will link the video that I watched when I started to do my cash envelope system. From there, I kind of tweaked it to what my family needs. So hopefully this video will help somebody who's wanting to start a cash envelope system, or who has just started a cash envelope system and feels a little overwhelmed by it. It's always a work in progress, so never give up. I hope everybody is staying healthy and safe. We'll see you at the next vlog. Thanks for watching, everybody.